Bam, I had my 27 little bombs of tobacco. Swallowed many of these balloons, but there was about 10 of them by the end. That every time I would get them down here, they would lodge. I'd feel I'd swallow, I'd still be able to breathe, but then I'd burp and it would come right back up into my mouth. What's good, fam? It's your boy Kiko Cortez coming at you with another episode of Kiko's Pain, the definitive channel of the Florida Chain Gang, where we turn bad into good and turn pain into progress. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I haven't heard any real YouTubers talking about, and that's suitcasing, hooping, boofing, using that prison wallet to hide something that you don't want, prison officials learning about. See, a lot of people shy away from this. I don't shy away from nothing. This whole channel, we're giving you the full experience from my perspective, from my years, my 24 years that I spent in prison between Florida and Indiana. We're going to get in the story, but first up, let's hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe up. You know what I'm saying? It's a movie we're going 2024 and beyond, keeping it 100 buck real life prison stories. But let's get back into it though. So, suitcasing. That's the term I'm mostly going to use. Suitcasing and boofing. That's really the main terms we use in the Florida Chain Gang to describe this act. Myself, how I got introduced into this was 2003. It's late 2003. I've already done 5 years up in Indiana. Got out for 13 days. I've been back locked up in Florida. I done did 7 months in the county. And now I've been up the road in prison for a little over 2 months now. My lawyer, immediately, I got hit with 20 years. My brother, my co-defendant, got 15 years. All lawyers immediately filed motions, appeals, motion to reduce, etc. Well, comes back about a month after being at my main camp, after a month in reception center, a month in my camp, boom, I get the paper back, I got a court date. So some time goes by, I went to prison with I had about $400 in my account when I got from the county to the prison. Now it's been a month into the reception center, a month at prison, and then about a month more after I get my notice. So about 3 months, I spent all this money. I bought a radio, I bought a Braun electric razor, and then I spent it waking up, going to canteen and eating a breakfast instead of going to the chow hall. Now I got no money coming from the streets, no money in my account. Now I see a golden opportunity. I'm going back to the county jail, and whatever happens in court, I know if I can take some cigarettes back there, because at the time, the Florida prison system still sold cigarettes to the inmates. So I could take cigarettes to the county, which didn't sell cigarettes or allow smoking, being all inside facility. Man, I can make a little come up. So I take this radio, this GPX pancake. A lot of y'all old timers know about that. I traded for 3 packs of top, rolled up rolling paper, rolled up cigarettes, I mean to say. So I break it down, and I've never swallowed balloons. I've never suitcased anything before. I've never smuggled through like visitation. Any of my previous time in prison, I never got into that. But of course, you've heard stuff, seen movies, been around it, etc. So I tell myself, all right, I'm gonna make up some balloons. I'm gonna swallow them, and then get them into the prison like that, or get them into the county jail like that. So that's what I do. I bomb them up. I remember it ends up coming out to 17 little bombs. I'm using the fingers of latex gloves that they give you like in the chow hall to clean up as a houseman or whatnot. Bust those fingers down, pack them up. Bam, I have my 27 little bombs of tobacco. Now all there is to wait until they call me to get transported. Inexperienced individual that I was, I thought I would be on the call out that morning and I'd have a heads up and plenty of time to go ahead and swallow these balloons. It didn't turn out like that. The deputy transport pulled up to the prison. They called me to my dorm. Hey, get down here. The dorm officer yelling over the intercom, get ready, get ready, get ready. I got to grab my 27 bombs, take them back to the bathroom, and with a cup of water and start swallowing these things. Now, I've always been the type, even swallowing big pills bother me. I'm not good at that. I don't like that. Horse pills is difficult. So I guess I should have had a little foresight and thought that might have been a problem. But I went in head first, swallowed many of these balloons, but there was about 10 of them by the end. That every time I would get them down here, they would lodge. I'd feel I'd swallow, I'd still be able to breathe, but then I'd burp and it would come right back up into my mouth. So I'm like, damn. They're yelling at me over the intercom, like, why am I taking so long? I've already drank about 2-3 20-ounce tumblers of water. So I'm starting to panic, like, damn, I can't just leave these. This is money right here. So boom, at the spur of the moment, I think to myself, go in the other side. Little lubrication, boop, boop, boop. We're just talking little balls like this right here. It wasn't, anything crazy initially. Now collectively, there was some discomfort. Once the 10 were there, I got up, I heard, I rushed, I grabbed my property, I shot down to the property room. By the time I got down there and started getting handcuffed and shackled and getting ready, all those cups of waters that I downed trying to get those down had made it to my bladder. And I was ready to go to the bathroom, which they promptly allowed me to do. Boom, pee, go back, get handcuffed up. No sooner have I shackled up and getting walked to the back of the van, and I already got to use the bathroom again. The water's just, it might have been a gallon I took in. The back of the van is what we call a dog box. It's like a steel box inside of the back of a van. There's two sides to it, a row of benches. They slide you in there. I'm black boxed up. I got handcuffs with a black box over them, keeping this totally rigid. A chain's running through that chain to my waist, and then a chain runs from that down to the shackles on my ankles. So I'm in here like this, pretty restricted. I'm there alone by myself. There's two deputies, and it's just me in the back. We head out. Before we get to the end of the long road leading to the prison, I have to go to the bathroom so bad. It's like an emergency situation. And I'm panicking. I'm thinking, we're going all the way to Daytona. We're up here in the Panhandle, 5 hours to Daytona. No way. I can't make another 5 minutes, much less 5 hours. So I'll spare some of the details. I finally found some outlet in the back of that thing where I could relieve myself. And I had to do that multiple times over the 5-hour trip. So bad was my bladder considerations that I really didn't even have time to worry about this material that I had just suitcased. At first it was uncomfortable, and then eventually it just didn't feel like anything was going on. And boom, up until I pull up in Daytona, I'm in the holding cell. Bam, I get dressed out. They take me to the back, to the block. My brother's already back there. He got transported in from his prison like a day before. He immediately asked, "You bring anything?" I was like, yeah, I got something. He's like, well, what's up? Bring it out. Because at the time, he still smoked cigarettes. He wanted to smoke it. I'm trying to hustle. But, so I'm like, well, damn, I don't even really feel the, urge. And he's like, man, just sit down. Just sit down. Boom. Sure enough, he spoke the truth. And what ultimately led me on the path that followed for me was that I had these two methods hand in hand. I swallowed 17 of these balloons and I suitcased 10 of them. So I experienced the pluses and the minuses in both methods. The suitcasing version obviously is intrusive on the way in, a little uncomfortable to boot, but once you get to your destination, it's easily extricated on about your business and it's done. The swallowing method, if you're not immediately back where you're going and vomiting that up, which is obviously unpleasant as can be, then it's going to have to pass all the way through your system. Once it passes all the way through, it's not going to come out alone. It's going to be in a group. And you're going to have to break the group up to get your balloons back. And let me just leave it a little under graphic and say, that's a bad look. It's a very, very ugly operation. And after doing it one time, I told myself, that's the last time. So out of the two methods, I found it less intrusive, less messy, period, going from the bottom up. And I got many stories. This became my chief hustle in prison, introducing stuff in from visitation into the prison. A million adventures. It was very lucrative, but at the same time, it was a constant cause of me going up and down, taking falls, laying down on CM for years, rising back up, making plays. It was crazy, it was adventure, but it all started on that day. They were yelling my name over the intercom. I'm trying to force these balloons down, and I'm just running out of time and out of options. and I went with Plan B, and that was my introduction into suitcasing.